Hunter Biden has pleaded not guilty to 3 felony charges stemming from his purchase of a firearm in 2018 while he was a drug user. The president's son was arraigned in federal court in Delaware earlier today. He was indicted on the charges after a plea deal involving a separate tax case fell apart, as you might remember, earlier this year. He's charged with both lying about his use of narcotics while buying a gun and possessing a gun while using narcotics. Attorneys for Hunter Biden have slammed the charges as politically motivated. If convicted, Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison and fines of up to $750,000. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge joins us now from outside the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Catherine, you've been following this story from the start, breaking much news too. Please walk us through what happened in court today.
Well, Lilia, good to be with you. This was a little bit of history that unfolded in the courthouse behind me, in the courtroom, on the second floor. The president's son facing these felony gun charges. And as Hunter Biden entered that courtroom, he passed by me not more than 5 feet away. And there really was a sense of sort of nervous energies. He had a nervous smile as he entered that courtroom and a real sense of apprehension. A lot of this hearing was very standard. The judge in this case summarized the charges that he faces, summarizes the potential penalties if he's convicted, which, as you noted, could be extremely serious, and also that he has a right to remain silent. And to each of these, he spoke in a soft but strong voice, "Yes, Your Honor." The plea was entered by his attorney, Abby Lowell. He told the court Mr. Biden pleads not guilty to the 3 charges. What stands out to me, Lilia, is that it was only 2 months ago that Hunter Biden entered the same courthouse with this sense of real optimism, very upbeat that he was going to put his legal troubles behind him. But with today's arraignment, legal experts have said to CBS News that his situation is very precarious, not only on the gun charges, but the possibility that additional charges could be brought on potential tax violations or even violations of foreign lobbying laws, either in California or Washington, D.C., Lilia.
I see. So those charges haven't come yet. I'm curious about something I was reading about the defense's perhaps strategy or argument that one of the charges is unconstitutional. Of course, I'm thinking of, somebody who's obviously a Democrat having a defense that might be, I don't know, on the side of the more gun or the against the gun or on the side of the gun lobby, rather. Bit confusing there, but I'm just thinking they're saying this is unconstitutional. I'm thinking of the pro-Second Amendment people liking this defense. Am I going too far and too convoluted into that? Can you explain that to us?
Sure. It's a very live question in the courts, and you're right, it is pretty complex. But if we strip away the politics, what's at the heart of the defense team's argument is that this charge, which bars a drug user from owning a weapon, in their view is unconstitutional and a violation of his Second Amendment rights. And the reason that's probably the strongest leading argument for the defense is that the Fifth Circuit recently ruled that this was unconstitutional, that restrictions that are placed on gun owners that were not in place when the Second Amendment became part of the Constitution, they are going too far, if you will. They go beyond what the founding fathers envisioned. For example, let's say someone is the subject of a domestic abuse restraining order, a domestic violence restraining order. Is it unconstitutional to block that person from owning a weapon? These are the live constitutional questions that are being litigated in the courts right now, including the Supreme Court. And this is one of the arguments Hunter Biden's legal team is making in an effort to dismiss this case.
Well, a convenient defense, even if it sides with the gun lobby. Could a plea deal be reached, or are we more likely to see this go to trial based on the severity of the charges?
It's always possible that there can be a meeting of the minds between the two sides. I think it's wise to look at this case as having two elements or being bifurcated. There is the felony gun charges here in Delaware, but if there are subsequent charges, they would be brought in another jurisdiction. It's possible that they could reach a settlement here, kind of wipe that and put it to bed, and then deal with any charges in the future. But it was also clear at that July plea hearing that there is a lot of distance between these two parties in terms of what they thought they had agreed to, protection from future criminal prosecution. And I would note the same judge in July, federal judge Mary Ellen Noreika, who asked very basic questions that led to the collapse of this plea deal, is also the judge who was assigned to the felony gun case. So I think that will be noteworthy as well.
All right. So more to come. Catherine Herridge, thank you so much.
You're welcome.